Hello friends, welcome you all in the video how to use command prompt. In our last videos, we have discussed regarding command and what is the need of command prompt. We have seen that command is basically a mechanism through which we interact with the hardware of the computer. We can say command prompt is also called as interpreter, which can understand the command and which can understand what to do based upon the commands entered by the user. So we require some set of commands. There are n number of commands for the operating system through which we can interact with the hardware. But as we are using graphical user interface operating systems, so there is very less requirement of command prompt for an ordinary user. As such, there is no requirement, we can say there is no requirement of understanding what is a command and what is a command prompt, how to give the command prompt for the ordinary user, as all these facilities are provided in the form of graphical user interface. We can say that because of this graphical user interface, user has no need to understand the commands and how to use them and what is a command prompt. Because if you see in the older operating systems like this operating system and older operating systems, there is no such use of graphical user interface. So there the commands are only one mechanism through which user can interact with the hardware of the system. But as the development of operating systems goes on, and as some operating system providers, they have introduced the concept of command prompt, introduced the concept of user interface, and by using that user interface, user has no need of understanding the commands and command prompt. So in this way, the need of command prompt and command prompt different commands has significantly reduced because of this graphical user interface. So when we see in the Windows operating system, if you see the older operating system generations like Windows 93 and before that Windows 95, Windows 98. So gradually Windows has introduced the use of graphical user interface, and day by day they have introduced in such a mechanism that user has very less requirement of using the command prompt. And nowadays we can say that for ordinary user there is no need of at all, there is no need of use of commands. Only the persons who has some understanding of the hardware or some basic knowledge of the hardware and some operating systems, they can understand the commands and command prompts. So here, as we are discussing Linux operating system, and our main topic of discussion is related to what is a command interface, and our main aim is to understand the difference between command line interface and GUI. So that's why with continuation with discussion, we are discussing our command prompt and command. So basically we have to remember one thing here is that command is nothing but it is a way of communication between the user and hardware. Mean user can give some commands, some instructions to the hardware directly to do this thing and do that things. Do this thing in this particular way and don't do this thing in this particular in this way. So like this, the command prompt is basically used by the advanced users who has some understanding of the commands and operating system fundamentals. So here in this video we will discuss regarding how to use the Windows command prompt. First we will discuss regarding the Windows command prompt, and after getting some knowledge, after understanding all concept of the Windows command prompt, we will go for Linux command prompt. So here in this case, as we know that the command interpreter is there. So for beginner, first of all, they must know how to go to the command interpreter in Windows operating system, because as we generally start our system, so there is no such command prompt and all that things you will see. You will just see the Windows starting, whatever system you are having, whatever operating system, Windows operating system or any other operating system you are having. So there you generally observe that whenever you switch on the system, after fully installing and fully operating system is loaded in your system, so you cannot see any type of command prompt there. So there, as we cannot see it, so first of all, you must have some information regarding how to use the command prompt and how to write down the commands there. So basically this mechanism is very simple. First we have to perform few basic steps. By using that, we can go to the command prompt and write down the command. In this video we will discuss that steps, how to use the Windows command prompt. So before understanding that Windows command prompt, first we will revise in our previous video that we have seen for Windows or DOS or for Windows operating system, the command prompt is represented with the symbol C:, this is /. C:// is the symbol for indicating the Windows command prompt. Similarly, for Linux operating system, the command prompt is represented with the $ symbol. So we'll see it how it is represented and why it is represented in such a way in our later on discussions. So for time being, as we are discussing here with the concerning with the Windows, so we have to remember that in case of Windows, the basic mechanism for representing command prompt is C:/. So this symbol indicates it is a command prompt in case of Windows. So if you are having different partitions, there you can see D also, there you can see E also. So depending upon you can switch to them. So there are some commands for that also. We can switch from one drive to another drive. Basically this is all called in Windows, when we see, these are also called as drives: C drive, D drive, E drive, so depending upon your partitions of your hard disk. So how to make the partition, that also the part of the administration issue, that is the part of the administration. So you can have n number of partitions, you can have one partition, but we can have more than one partitions. Generally in systems, if you see, there are generally 2 or 3 partitions, because if you see as Windows, if you see the hard disk as a whole, it is having some capacity. So that size or capacity of the Windows, it is divided into different parts. It is divided into partitions. So that are called as Windows partition. Generally, the names or conventions used to give the names to that partitions are C, D, and E. So this is C indicates that it is a C prompt or C command prompt for the Windows. And we have seen also that there are 2 methods or 2 types of interpreters, such as text-based, that is generally used in DOS and Linux, and GUI-based, that is used in Windows and Linux and Android and all that things. Now, how to use the command prompt? As first we must know how the Windows and Linux command prompt look like. So if you see the command prompt for Windows, it is somewhat like this, and if you see for DOS or for Linux, it is like this. So it is $ symbol here, and it is here C command prompt or C drive. So now, first of all, we must know the steps to use the Windows command prompt. So following steps can be performed for Windows command prompt. So first of all, whenever you start your system, after starting the Windows operating system, you can have like this start button in every Windows operating system. If you click on this start button, you can see this type of menu. This is called as menu. So here there are all programs and whatever software you install, utility software or system software, whatever you install in that. So here you can see list of all that things, and this is called as start button. So after clicking on the start button, here you observe that there is one search button here. where it has been written in such a way that search programs or files, and there is shutdown button and list of all the utility softwares that are installed on this particular type of system. After this, how to go to the command prompt? So there in the search button, you have to write or type CMD in the search program and file, whatever here it is looking. It is like this. If you type CMD, so there it will show this type of black CMD, and like this prompt is there. So after typing and pressing enter sign here, as soon as you type CMD, it will look like this. And after typing this CMD and pressing the enter button, you will see this type of Windows command prompt. So here I have here it is there, C user and admin, and then some type of symbol here. This is called as cursor symbol basically. So this is basically the Windows command prompt we have opened from our system. After coming to this system, in this particular command prompt, you can use different commands to go to either C drive, to D drive, or whatever operations you want to perform, because there are a number of commands through which you can interact with the hardware of that particular system. You can perform your task. So here, for shifting to C or D or E drive, there are list of some commands that we'll discuss in later on our videos. For timing you to remember that the steps we perform for command prompt is like that. First, we have to press on the Windows start button. After pressing on the Windows start button, the command prompt, whatever menu it is there, it will open. It will show the list of all programs, and there is one type of search button represented in the bottom of that particular command, bottom of that particular menu. There you have to write down the command. Basically, that is also called as command or utility, CMD. CMD is basically the command for opening the command prompt. We can say CMD is the command for opening the command prompt. So after typing CMD in the search program and files search button, so you after typing that particular command, you can see here the screen look like this. On this screen, after pressing the enter sign, or after pressing the enter button from the keyboard of your whatever system is there, you can see the screen prompted in front of your eyes is that it is like this. It is giving the information related to the operating system, like that, copyright and all that things, and then on what particular drive, in which particular directory you are, because all these things, users, admin, they are called as directories. We'll discuss regarding directories also when we see the commands related to files and directories. For time being, you have to remember that whenever we type CMD for opening the command prompt, it will show the current working directory where we stand. So from that directory, you can either switch to different drives or different partitions available in the C language in that particular system, or you can use different commands for interacting with the particular system or hardware, or you can do different tasks. So all these things, as a Windows, nowadays we don't use it, but as we are discussing Linux operating system, and Linux operating system is basically more command based, less GUI based. If you see system administration part, there also you have to use n number of commands. So all that things is related to the commands. So first of all, we are discussing commands with respect to Windows. After getting awareness about the commands, we can easily use that commands in our Linux operating system. There is a list of commands that we can use, and there are different functionalities by using that commands by using the Linux operating system. So first we will discuss regarding the commands by using Windows operating system, and then we'll go for the Linux operating system command prompt. Timing, you to remember that CMD is the mechanism used for opening the command prompt in case of Windows, and you can use the command exit to close this particular command prompt. In our next videos, we'll discuss that type of commands also how to open and close that particular Windows operating system command prompt. Timing, you have to just remember that CMD is the basic mechanism by which you can open the command prompt. Thank you.